Think of the Sahara Desert, and you likely picture a scorching, endless ocean of dry sand stretching for hundreds of miles. Not a drop of water in sight. But that static, barren image is an illusion. The landscape here is actually moving and shifting at an incredible speed. Take the massive Lala Lalia star dune in Morocco. Scientists recently used ground-penetrating radar to study it, discovering that its towering 100-meter peak formed in less than a single millennium. The sands of the Sahara are highly active, acting as a rapidly moving facade that keeps ancient evidence buried deep beneath the surface. To find that evidence, we have to travel to a scorching stretch of the Egyptian Sahara known as the Valley of the Whales. Out here, the heat is blistering, and you are more than 100 miles from the nearest modern coastline. Yet, if you brush away the dirt, you might find yourself staring right at the white vertebrae and massive skull of a 60-foot prehistoric whale resting on the cracking earth. And if you look closely at these perfectly intact skeletons, you will spot something completely out of place for an ocean animal: hind legs and feet. Finding a walking whale stranded in the deep desert proves that this baking ground was once a thriving ocean. Millions of years ago, northern Africa was submerged under the Tethys Sea. As sea levels dropped, the water receded, stranding early whales. Pushing back 50 million years, this map shows a shallow, landlocked body of water, the Trans-Saharan Seaway, sitting over West Africa. Because this sea was completely cut off from the larger global oceans, the creatures trapped inside underwent a wild evolutionary process called gigantism. The waters transformed into an extreme aquatic jungle, heavily populated by massive predators, including 5-foot-long catfish and terrifying sea snakes that grew up to 40 feet in length. But the undisputed apex predator of this bizarre ancient ecosystem was the Spinosaurus, the largest known carnivorous dinosaur. Growing over 50 feet long, it evolved dense bones, flat paddle-like feet, and an elongated crocodile-like snout perfectly adapted for hunting underwater. Because of its total geographical isolation, the flooded ancient Sahara engineered a hyper-competitive, supersized marine environment entirely alien to our modern world. You do not even have to go back millions of years to see an unrecognizable landscape. Fast forward to just 11,000 years ago, and scientists say the region entered the African humid period. The desert vanished entirely, replaced by a lush green paradise, packed with dense forests, vibrant grassy plains, and flowing river systems. Look at this data map showing the boundaries of the modern Sahara. Right over this terrain, an ancient megalake once spanned a staggering 100,000 square kilometers. We know this because early human hunter-gatherers lived right alongside jungle animals like hippos and giraffes, carefully etching their images directly into the local rocks. A vibrant, wet, green Sahara is a historical reality, witnessed, recorded, and lived in by ancient humans. So, what catastrophic force is required to drain a massive megalake ecosystem and turn a green paradise into a baking sandbox? The answer lies in planetary motion. As this globe model shows, our Earth occasionally goes through a slight shift in its orbital tilt, altering exactly how solar rays hit the planet. That tiny wobble was enough to shut down the massive weather fronts that normally brought monsoon rains deep into the African continent. As the rain systems dissipated between 8,000 and 4,500 years ago, the dense vegetation rapidly retracted, leaving behind a stark, expanding brown desert. As the climate grew drier, early human populations began herding goats and cattle across the remaining grasslands. These herds stripped the landscape of its final moisture-retaining plants, acting as a biological accelerant for the desert's expansion. A total ecosystem collapse does not require millions of years. A minor cosmic wobble, combined with local biological pressure, can flip a thriving paradise into a wasteland in just a few millennia. Now, bring your mind back to the scorching, endless sand dunes we started with. Surviving our wild planet means understanding that environments are incredibly fragile. A forest can flip into a wasteland in the blink of a cosmic eye. The endless dry sand we see today is merely a temporary blanket, resting quietly on top of ancient whales and massive swimming dinosaurs.